Hello guys and welcome to a new video today. This will be the ESPN FC cast reacting to Neymar's quite disappointing World Cup. Now before we watch the video, like I've said, it's fair to point out they really hate on Neymar a lot. As they speak throughout the video, I'll give my opinions and what I think, my opinions on Neymar's World Cup and what I think happened to him. I think it was just his rustiness from the last time playing was in February. He got injured in February, and he played a game or two friendlies before the World Cup started. But with that being said, he played five. He had games under his belt, and he played an amazing game versus Mexico. So I did expect him to show up versus Belgium, but that was not the case. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him this season, see how he plays, and it'll be also interesting to see what Florentino Perez thinks about this, knowing that he wants Neymar at Real Madrid. Maybe he changed his mind after seeing his World Cup performance, or maybe he just knows it's because of the injury and he's ready to take a risk. Maybe he'll wait a year to buy Neymar to see how he does this season. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Neymar going into the future. I expect him to have a great season after his horrible, well, not I want to say horrible, but disappointing World Cup. Anyway, the ESPN FC cast will talk about it, and I'll give my opinions.
Where do we stand on Neymar when we talk about best players in the world? Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar's third. It's pretty much a given. However, surely that has to be
Yes, I agree. Arguably, he is the third best player in the world, right behind Ronaldo and Messi. I guess you would have to put as well Salah in the conversation, as well as Harry Kane. Harry Kane has really showed up the last couple seasons and this World Cup, so I would put him as well in that spot. Other players, probably Modric, being an amazing midfielder, playing great throughout his whole spell at Real Madrid, having also a great World Cup. But it's really just Neymar. He is the third best player in the world for me, arguably.
It's not just on this game, obviously, and not just on this tournament, but his performances against big teams. We saw in the Champions League.
This was the stage, right? And this was the opportunity for him to take himself to a different level entirely. And yet, the feeling that I think we all have is that he's just kind of taking a step back rather than a step forward. Neymar is a frustrating player because...
Well, that's my problem with this crew right here. I do have one problem with them. They do bring up interesting topics. I like their show. But the one problem I have with them is that they like to hate on other players. They like to criticize them a lot. But I never see that hate towards Messi at all, ever. They like to hate on Ronaldo because he played bad in the beginning of the season. But then he showed up at the end of the season and they don't say nothing. They hate on Neymar for having a disappointing World Cup. They made a whole entire discussion on Neymar's World Cup, but I haven't seen a video on Messi. By his standards, he had a very bad World Cup. He had a great attack. He had a great team. It really just comes down to the media making the narrative that Messi's perfect, Messi's this and that. Don't get me wrong. I think Messi's an amazing player. One of the best. For me, he's one of the best players in the world and one of the greatest players of all time. Definitely in my top 5 of the list. But it's just amazing me how the media always protects Messi. You can never talk bad about Messi. But Neymar, I would say he had a better World Cup than Messi in my opinion. And they're hating on him. I don't know, I just don't like it. Messi played really bad this World Cup. He had a great team. He also didn't appear in matches. Neymar scored more goals than Messi, and I think had the same assists as him. It's just incredible for me that have the amount of hate they have on Neymar, but they don't like to criticize Messi because Messi is this person that's untouchable. If you talk about him, you're a horrible human being. I always criticize Messi and Ronaldo, not just Messi. I criticize Ronaldo as well, but I only criticize them as a player. I never criticize them as a person, as a human in their life, because that's none of my business. I like to criticize them on their play, on them being a player. There's nothing wrong with that. but these guys take it to a whole nother level. And that's the one thing I don't like about them, the hatred they give towards players. But Messi's in this range where if you talk about him, you're basically a horrible human being. Anyways, I'm gonna let this video continue.
His best, he is at that kind of level. He is at that kind of player with that sort of talent. But when he is concerned about,
And I am by no way at all, no way at all giving a pass for Neymar at this World Cup. I said that he should have showed up versus the game versus Belgium. He didn't. Um, he had games under his belt. He had enough to take the rust off. He had an amazing game versus Mexico. I'm not giving him a pass by any sorts of the imagination. No, I am not. But I'm just saying that it's just incredible the hatred that this show gives Neymar.
every other thing other than producing and impacting the play on the field, then he becomes sort of a character, a side character, a sideshow,
Yeah.
just kind of clowning around the field. That's not what makes him a good player. But the lack of recognition as
Well, no, that's not what makes him a good player. I agree, but that is part of his game. Flopping, the trying to draw foul, trying to draw penalties, that is part of his game.
moments in which it's okay to kind of show off, and when it's okay to take the game on and say, okay, this is my team, we're going to get through because I'm going to carry this team forward. He doesn't quite have that, and I'm not sure that he has that in his personality.
I think talent-wise, without question, Neymar third best in the world behind.
Yes, I agree. Talent-wise, he has the potential to be the best player, not just in the world but of all time. He just needs to get a couple World Cups, maybe a couple Copa Americas, some Ballon d'Ors. He needs to keep scoring, win more titles with his club. He definitely has a chance. But with all that being said, the clock is ticking on him. He's 26 years of age. He cannot play forever. The clock is ticking on him. He has to, for me to put it right now, I'll have him on my top 30 players of all time. He wants to get up in my list. He needs to produce something amazing this season.
You mentioned, Dan, but it comes down to personality and whether.
And he has to win a Champions League with PSG before going to Real Madrid, in my opinion.
He's making the most of these opportunities and these big stages. Because let's say we're Real Madrid and we're blessed with all the money in the world, but we could only buy one player at the end of this World Cup. If
I would buy Mbappe. I would buy Mbappe over Neymar. Mbappe is just more younger than Neymar. It doesn't really matter to me that Neymar has more experience than Mbappe. Mbappe is gaining experience. He's only 19 years of age. He's already in the semifinals of the World Cup. He has 3 goals in this World Cup. He's just playing great in this World Cup. I would choose Mbappe. For me, he is a top 10 player right now in the world. I don't care what anybody says. He is a top 10 player. He plays out of his mind. He is one of the best players in the world, in my opinion. I think if I were to choose between Neymar and Mbappe this summer, I would choose Mbappe.
He continues to go as he has, continues to show the maturity on the park and off it, and continues to show the progression talent-wise. If I could only buy one of these two,
right,
judging on what we've seen so far, it's Mbappe. And it shouldn't be, because in terms of just pure...
Yeah, he's right. It really shouldn't be. It should be Neymar. Neymar is the more older player, the more experienced player. It should really be Neymar who should be picked instead of Mbappe to go to Real Madrid. But Mbappe has shown up this World Cup. He has. It doesn't matter that he has a good team. Brazil had a good team. Messi had a good team. Ronaldo had an okay team. Mbappe showed up this World Cup. I will give him props for that.
Natural talent. Nobody holds a candle to Neymar.
It should have been his moment. With
It really should have been. I agree as well. If he would have played the whole season with PSG, I think things would have been different. I think he would have finished the year off strong with PSG. He would have gone into the World Cup with more confidence and not being scared and not rusty of his ankle injury. I can assure if it wasn't for that injury, Neymar would be in the semifinals right now.
Ronaldo and Messi going out because they had disappointing teams around them.
Oh, I don't quite agree with that. Ronaldo had a pretty good team, and Messi had a great team as well. So I don't really agree with I don't give passes for Ronaldo and Messi. They both missed a penalty in the group stage that could have put them in the easy bracket. So I don't really agree with the giving Ronaldo and Messi a pass this World Cup.
Brazil had a really good side, didn't they? They were screaming out they were the favourites, and they were screaming for their leader to take them forward, drive them forward. And if
Well, yes, they were one of the World Cup favorites. They were one of mine. I think they should have made it to at least the semifinals. They were one of my top three teams that I would have picked. I would have picked them, Spain, and France. As we know, Spain got knocked out last round. Brazil got knocked out this round. But I chose France to win the World Cup. I think they had the better overall squad. But yes, they were one of the favorites to win this World Cup. But they were also, to point out, he said that they were screaming for a leader. There's really no leader in the Brazil squad right now. Neymar is not a leader. He's not one of those players that will gather you up and yell out what everybody has to do. He's not a leader to me. Him and Messi, they're not really good leaders. Leaders are like Ronaldo, Ramos, Modric, those type of players. Those are really overall lead players, and that's why I think Real Madrid has a bunch of success because they have a bunch of players that are leaders in their team. Neymar is not a leader for me. That's why he gave up that captain role. That's why Marcelo is the captain for Brazil. He gave up the captain role. I think it was a year or two that he gave it up because he knew that he wasn't up for the challenge.
I think, as Shaka rightly said, it's the French side of the draw that we're looking at going, wow, you know, Mbappe's starting to play well. Griezmann had a decent game today.
Yep.
Even Pogba's starting to play well. Giroud's playing well. It's that bracket that you're starting to say, right, actually it's going to be Mbappe's going to be the star. So Neymar now has to go again and improve for PSG this year and try and take this Brazilian side forward. We know that you can't just, you know, you're not just justified to win the World Cup every single 4 years just because of the history of your club. But they had it today. They could have got a result if the bigger players really started, and the bigger players didn't start today.
Yes, I agree with him. The stars really didn't show up in this game. And as for it pertains to Neymar, he had a disappointing World Cup for me. I've been throwing out the excuse that he was injured. It's not an excuse, it's real. But after that, he still played a bunch of games before. I really did expect him to have a better game than he had this world today versus Belgium. Anyways, that's what I think on Neymar. I expect him to have a great season at PSG. This will be a bounce back year from his injury. Expect him to have a great season. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll have more videos coming out the way. More football topics, the World Cup and transfer fee and the Ronaldo news. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.